Good morning. Week 18, the last week of the regular season, and it is a doozy, to say so myself. Jameson Hutchison, the greatest of all time, Joel Wirth. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing all right. It's not going to be a very interesting game for the Packers today, so just sit back and enjoy some DFS.
There we go. It's we've got news flowing in as we go along here, and we've got a lot to talk about. There's 13
Very
games.
unfortunate news.
Yeah, just got a call from the sheriff's department. Let me know that Nico Collins is not playing. That has ruined Joel's morning.
Ooh.
Yeah, so we're gonna get through this one way or the other. We're gonna pray over it and do all that good stuff. But we got 6 games in the early window. We got 7 in the late window. The most late games, maybe possibly ever. We got some decent games. We got some lopsided games. We got a lot of backups to talk about. So we're just gonna kick this off. I'm gonna set this up here, and I guess we'll get to the Nico Collins stuff right off the bat here. We got the Indianapolis Colts with Riley Leonard. Philip Rivers, I guess, has officially gone back into retirement. Going on the road to Houston, who needs a win to kind of keep their chance at the AFC South title alive. They are big favorites. Like this a lot better before Nico Collins, but how are you feeling about this one here, Joel?
Yeah, we were talking before the show. I was jamming Nico Collins on my underdog drafts. I had 50% exposure, so this is not good news for me at all. Kind of came out of, I mean, Nico Collins had just destroyed the Colts his entire career, so this really sucks.
Yep.
Probably pivot to Jaden Higgins, although, I mean, this just,
Yeah.
does this mean Houston's just not going to play their guy? I mean, I don't know what this means. I mean, yeah, they really can't do much, but they can get to the 5 seed with a win. I mean, they basically clinch the 5 seed with a win. That means you get to play Baltimore probably, or the husk of the Steelers. So that seems like, I mean, you'd much rather play those guys than Jacksonville or New England. So yeah, I would think they would want to win this game. So I'm a little, unless he's injured or something, we just don't know about it, and they didn't want to give him some rest. But yeah, this probably means more Woody Marks, maybe some more Jawar Jordan.
Yeah, week 18. I can't get enough Jawar Jordan. Let me tell you.
Yeah, you can't. Who knows? So it really just it takes Stroud off of the roster. And I kind of like Stroud as like a low-owned contrarian guy. On the Colts side, I mean, it's JT or nothing. JT, like, he wasn't bad against the Texans. Like 21 for 85 or something like that. Just didn't score a touchdown. With Riley Leonard, I don't think they're going to try and throw too much. I think it's just going to be the JT show. So I think he's probably in play, although I don't necessarily love it against this Texans defense.
Yeah, the Riley Leonard thing, and this goes back to Notre Dame. He's more of a runner than a thrower. He played the game that he came in off when Daniel Jones got hurt, and he looked okay. But I mean, this Texans defense is not something to look okay against. And then you have JT, who just has not done enough for his price point ever since.
Yeah, I wish he was cheaper.
It's just very hard to justify that. He is going up against James Cook for the rushing title. And this is kind of going off topic, but there's a lot of back and forth with both the early slate and the late slate having so much like a seeding and all that stuff. James Cook and Jonathan Taylor kind of be looking at each other to see if, James Cook gets some run. We'll see if they want to chase the rushing title. So JT's here. I don't know if it matters. I don't know if they can get enough anyways going up against this Texans defense. I don't want any of the pass catchers. I guess you could take a shot on Alec Pierce if you wanted to, but I just don't think Riley Leonard's going to be holding up any of these guys. And there's some other cheaper punt plays that we'll get into. There's a lot of punt plays, unfortunately, that we'll get into because it's week 18. So I don't think you need to do it here on the Colts side. I think Riley Leonard is – I don't even know if he's okay just because we got some other punt quarterbacks like Tanner McKee we'll talk about here in a little bit, but he's 4,700 on FanDuel or DraftKings, 6,400 on FanDuel. We got Tanner McKee. We got some other guys. I don't think you need to go there on the Colts side. You talked about Nico Collins. I've liked CJ Stroud a lot better when Nico Collins was in, and now I don't know. Dalton Schultz is fine, I guess, but I don't even want to. There's some games on this slate I just don't want to entertain. I think after the Nico Collins, might go Woody Marks and Texans defense, and then outside of that, kind of retire. At this point, Nico Collins kind of derailed the fun for me here.
Yeah, it just feels like the Texans want to win this game 16-10 or something like that, and just sit their guys and be done with it. So
right.
Yeah, that sucks.
We got Texans defense. You're going to pay up for them. I will bring up Jalen Noel just as a punt play here. Texans defense 3,700, and then Noel, he's going to be punt wide receiver who I think he caught a touchdown last week. But the CJ Stroud looked like the greatest of all time in the first quarter against the Chargers and then totally fell off cliff. So it just kind of is what it is. Noel 3,500, 5K on FanDuel. Other than that, I guess we'll just move on. Just unfortunate here. Nico Collins kind of ruining that here. So,
Buzzkill Texans.
Sean, appreciate you tuning in this morning. Good morning. What is the safest pay up options this week on FanDuel? Ooh, I mean, you're going to pay up for it, but Bijan would probably be the safest at the moment. I'm going to look through some of this stuff here.
I like Puka quite a bit as a pay up because we'll talk about this when we get the Rams. They're now, with the 49ers loss last night, they are in the driver's seat with a win to get to play Carolina in week one of the playoffs. And that Carolina team's a schmortion. That's a joke that they're going to be in the playoffs. So they're going to get revenge. They're going to want to win this game so they can go get revenge on the Carolina, basically get a bye in the playoffs. So I think Puka is a very, very good play today.
Yep. One last one. For me, it's not necessarily pay up, but Juwan Johnson. We'll get to it here in a little bit. Yeah. Saints have no pass catchers. They are doing the Week 18 Dante Pettis show. If you are a grinder of the film, you've heard the name Dante Pettis. We'll get to him in a little bit. But those are a couple guys right off the bat that are safe plays on this slate here, and we'll get into some more of them. But just right off the bat, there's a couple of them. Appreciate you tuning in. Anybody else, if you are degenerate, want to drop in any questions here, we'd be happy to take those for you for Week 18. So next game here, we got the Cleveland Browns going on the road to Cincinnati. Seems like the Bengals starters are going to be playing. I don't know if it's a full game. We've got Myles Garrett going after the sack record again. Yeah. Harold Fannin, David Njoku, I believe both are out. So it really just leaves Jerry Jeudy for the Browns and then Dylan Sampson, which I don't know if you have any interest in either one of those guys, but Yeah,
we should probably get to the numbers on these games because they do matter. Cleveland 8-point dog on the road. 46 is the total. That total's gone up a little bit, which is kind of surprising. The one thing I think is really in play here is Chase Brown can get to 1,000 yards. So I think they will want to get him that. So I think he's a very good play today. Cleveland run defense has been absolutely terrible since Malik Collins got hurt in that game against the 49ers. So I like Chase Brown quite a bit. I think he's one of the safer plays at running back this week.
Yeah. My only issue with Chase Brown is it's not really an issue because he's been running hotter than the sun on touchdowns. But Samaje Perine, I know if you have Chase Brown, he's probably won you a fantasy championship like he has a couple for me. But Perine has gotten a touchdown every week that Chase Brown goes scorched earth, and he gets a lot of work. So it doesn't show much on the box score, but
he's sucking touchdowns from Jamar Chase.
Yeah, you'll see number 34 lined up in the backfield, like in the red zone. You're just sitting there, no, not Perine.
It is
and then
crazy annoying.
Yeah, so the Joe Burrow stuff's interesting. The Bengals offensive line has probably played as well as they ever have in their entire lives as far as the Joe Burrow experience goes. But Myles Garrett has had his way with Joe Burrow in the past. So he's in his graveyard of sack takers or whatever he has out in Cleveland. So Jamar Chase is pretty interesting. Some of these games I'm just worried about how much the starters are going to play. And that's the Bengals, Dallas we'll talk about in a little bit. Those teams that they're not in the playoffs, they're not necessarily quitting, but you don't know how far into the game they're going to play all these guys. So on a slate like this, I'd love to play the Joe Burrow double. T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. It gets expensive, but you can do that this week. I just worry, I guess, how much it'll go. And then the Browns side out, people are going to play Jerry Jeudy. I've led into that. You can't do that week 18. I just can't do that.
Browns are hands off for me. No interest.
People are going to play Dylan Sampson. Those are like the only two viable guys. There's a better punt running back we'll get into in a little bit coming out of Minnesota or even Philadelphia. Those guys
I like
I like those guys better.
good punt running backs. Why would you go to Dylan Sampson?
Yeah. Jerry Jeudy has sucked outside of one game this year, and he's going up against DJ Turner. So I just don't have any interest in that, even though he's the last man standing for the Browns. Bengals defense is honestly a lot better than they are. I don't know if you want to give them any credit because they still suck, but they're not the worst defense of all time. And they're middle of the pack here going up against Shador, who's taken a ton of sacks, who's had some really bad turnovers as of late. I think this is a very interesting defense on a slate like this who can kind of break the slate here. The run defense has been a lot better over the second half of the year. And I don't expect Shador to be flinging it across the yard. So I think Bengals defense is in play today as well. So anything else on this game? Well, I guess I should ask how you feel about the Bengals offense overall, if you feel safe with them today on this slate.
I much prefer them to Dallas. We'll talk about Dallas in a little bit. I would much. This Cincinnati seems like one of the teams that's kind of playing well down the stretch and wants to feel good going out. Then they can tell themselves that they're going to miss the playoffs because Joe Burrow missed so much time, and that's probably true. Like if Burrow hadn't gotten hurt, they very well be playing for the AFC North. I think they're gonna play to win this game, and I think they will play their starters for the majority of the game. So, this is one of the teams that I do feel pretty good about.
Yeah, so I think you've kind of convinced me a little bit because I was pretty iffy on the Bengals. Of course, I love Joe Burrow, think he's greatest of all time, all that jazz, but it's just kind of hard to see if they play him 4 quarters. But I think the Joe Burrow double is in play, especially with Jamar Chase. Yeah. But it ends up getting expensive. You can make it fit. So I really like Bengals defense today as well, and I think some other defenses are going to get played more than them, but I think they're the one that could kind of break the slate here. So next game, somehow the most important game of the weekend, which just pisses me off beyond belief. We got the New Orleans Saints going to Atlanta to figure out if the Panthers or the Buccaneers are going to be representing the NFC South, this abortion of a division here in Week 18. So what do we got here for Saints at the Falcons?
The New Orleans Saints are 3.5-point road dogs at Atlanta. 43.5 is the total. Atlanta feels like the team that's going to play well enough down the stretch to save their coach's job, even though he really doesn't deserve to be saved. But they have played pretty well. And like you said, New Orleans has nobody to throw the ball to other than Juwan Johnson with Chris Olave being out. So feels tough to start anything on the New Orleans side. But yeah, Bijan, probably your 101 this week. He's absolutely been smashing down the stretch. I'm still full fading Drake London. If he goes off, I'm just going to lose, but I'm going to live with that because I don't think he's healthy. He hasn't done anything since he's come back. I don't necessarily think that they're going to need him to win this game because it doesn't feel like New Orleans is really trying. And New Orleans has played pretty good defense, honestly, of late. So, people are going to be on Kyle Pitts. There's some other tight end options I like better. Atlanta defense, I think, is probably in play because I just don't know. The Saints have played well lately, but it's a lot like their offense has run through Olave, and with him not out there, I don't know how they're going to score.
Yeah, and isn't it fitting that Kyle Pitts gave everybody so much hope at the beginning of the fantasy playoffs and then let everybody down when they needed him the most? Is that not the Kyle Pitts experience?
That is the Kyle Pitts experience.
So Bijan's fine. For as much as I think he's on track to get 2K overall yards in this game as well. So they might be playing for that. I think I shouldn't say he's a bad play. I mean, he's obviously the most expensive running back on the slate. I don't feel, I guess, as comfortable or as much of a need to jam him in as probably others do. And that's probably me just being contrarian how I always kind of play this stuff. Seems like Bijan's going to be a lock for most people, and I just kind of going to fade that. One guy I do like a lot as far as tight ends go, if I'm not playing McBride, it's going not to be Taysom Hill, but Juwan Johnson. Juwan Johnson is the last man standing. He's 5,300 on FanDuel. DraftKings, he's going to be, if I could pull it up somewhere, 4,200 over on DraftKings. He's done really well this season. He's probably, as far as the late round best ball picks, he's probably one of the best ones because he gave you points just about every single week. He's got a good ceiling too, especially on a slate like this. So Like him, Tyler Shuck's been really good as well. I know it's probably not the time to fire him up when you're playing Dante Pettis and Kevin Austin as your wide receivers. Any interest in those guys as far as punt wide receivers go? Or
No, there's too many good punt. There's too many viable punt receivers this week. I think Shuck is probably usable just because the rushing upside is there, and he may have to run because receivers just can't get open, and Audric Estimate is trash, and I don't think he's going to be able to run against Atlanta like he did against Tennessee. So,
right.
I think Shuck is still play good, and I'm not playing the receivers. If I'm going to do Shuck, I'm going to do Shuck with Juwan Johnson.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. So the Kirk Cousins, I'm assuming you're not going to fire him up either. No.
Yeah, this offense just runs through Bijan. And honestly, I think they're probably, like not Travis Etienne, Tyler Algier is a free agent after this. I think they want to do right. I think they want to showcase him and kind of do right by a guy who's really been a good soldier for them. So I think he's going to get some run in this game too.
Yeah, 4,700 on DraftKings, 6,100 for Algier on FanDuel. You were right about Drake London. He has retired quietly the last several weeks. He's just not healthy. And then outside of that, it's going to be defense here. Atlanta defense. Saints defense, middle of the pack. Atlanta is going to be somehow cheaper than.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Over on FanDuel. There's a lot of stuff that doesn't make sense week 18, but
that's true.
It's look down here. They're going to be middle of the pack here over on DraftKings. Saints 2,500, 2,800 for the Falcons. So I think Falcons defense is viable here. Honestly, both of them, for me at least. These probably are not the defenses I'm going after, but I do think both are viable on this slate. So
I do like the Falcons defense quite a bit in this game.
Good deal. So
and it is apps. I went on this rant yesterday on the Club Fantasy Area Grievances show. It is absurd that the NFC South is going to get a representative in the playoffs. Why do they get an automatic bid? If you're so bad that you can't deserve a playoff spot based on record because you play in the worst division in the league and you get 6 of your 17 games against trash teams, like either one of Carolina or Tampa Bay could have clinched it by beating the Saints once at the end in December. That's all they had to do, and they couldn't do it. It's a joke that the NFC South is going to get a team in the playoffs. Just stop with automatic bids for division leaders.
I'd sent out a message to my fantasy football group. We had a 6-8 team that almost beat me. I was the best team in the league, and I was going to make a rule for next year. You have to be 500 or better to enter the postseason, no matter what you are. And I feel like that's the way it should be with the NFC South here. So just an abomination and embarrassment to the league. But
who would you rather watch in the playoffs? The Saints or the Panthers, who looked just miserable yesterday, or Detroit?
Detroit,
who's they're beat up, they're injured, their defense, but they're going to score. They're going to put points up. It's going to be fun to watch.
I think I'd rather see the Cardinals, as bad as they've been, and they've lost every game. I'd rather see the Jacoby experience. We can transfer the Bengals over to the NFC for 1 year, replace them.
Yes, let's do that.
So just anything outside of these two terrible teams. So
it's ridiculous.
I'm going to let you have it here. We got the Packers going on the road. Packers are retiring for Week 18, going up against the Vikings, and J.J. McCarthy, who is coming back to action for one more ride in 2026, technically. So I'll let you have it on this one here.
Yeah, this line has moved to 11. Vikings by 11. 37 is the total. So 13 implied for the Packers, which is embarrassing. And 24 for the Vikings. Clayton Tune gets the start for the Packers, who is awful, was a terrible prospect. It was terrible in his one start in Arizona, was terrible last week when he got a couple snaps after Malik Willis got hurt. I have zero faith in the Packers scoring this week. I do kind of like Matthew Golden as just a completely, if you want to get just kind of crazy and just in a milli maker, just do something completely off the wall, because nobody's going to be playing him. And I think they want to try and get him involved. So I think they want to try and they may try and force feed him, but I don't know if Clayton Tune is going to be enough to get him there. Desmond Ridder going to be the backup, even though Jordan Love is healthy, because
Jesus.
Malik Willis is not, and they're going to use Love as the emergency quarterback. Yeah, they're resting Christian Watson. They're probably like Josh Jacobs is going to be active, but he's only going to be an emergency back. So I'm not starting anything on the Packer side. I say other than Golden is like a very, very, very contrarian, very, very deep field kind of play. Vikings, Jordan Mason obviously is going to be interesting. because the Packers cannot stop the run at all. And he's the kind of back that they're going to struggle with because they can't defend the middle of the interior offensive line. So Mason is interesting with Aaron Jones out. And then, I don't know, it just feels like they want to get Justin Jefferson off the field on a high note. So I feel like they're going to kind of force feed him. So I do like Justin Jefferson this week.
Yeah. So I like McCarthy this week.
I do too.
I feel ignorant saying that. It feels ignorant that we are at week 18 and Justin Jefferson is on pace to, he's like 40 yards away from 1,000. You know, one of the greatest wide receivers of all time can't get 1,000 yards because this offense is terrible. But McCarthy, ever since he's kind of come back from the injuries and the mental healing and all that aspect stuff, he's put 20 points up a game when he's healthy. The problem is he gets hurt, he gritties, he pisses somebody off, and then he ends up disappearing for a couple weeks. But it's a good matchup for him. Vikings defense is middle of the pack on both sides. They're probably going to be the best, honestly, the best defensive play on the day. You compare him with Jordan Mason. Mason is 5,500 on FanDuel. He's going to be one of these punt running backs, 5,200 on DraftKings that will get some run. He's in a good spot here. If you pair him with the Vikings defense, I think that's kind of works out as well. But I like McCarthy here on a slate where I'm worried about the top guys playing full games and like hitting their ceiling, and just getting the 20 from McCarthy here at 5,200 on DraftKings. And then Justin Jefferson he ends up in the middle of the pack, 5,800. Cortland Sutton, Ladd, all these guys above him. Pretty sad that it's gotten this far, but you know, week 18, chasing for 1,000 yards, which is absolutely ignorant to say here, but that's how bad it's gotten. Jordan Addison as well. This is
I like Addison as a punt.
5,900 on FanDuel. DraftKings, he's 4,800. I don't want to play Hutchison on this slate. There's some other guys who have much better ceilings than him.
He's not playing.
Okay, then never mind then. It makes it even worse.
I do like Josh Oliver if you needed like a super punt tight end. You paid like nothing at tight end. On DK, he's crazy cheap. So he's gotten touchdowns. So I think he's viable. Packers are not good again. They've been okay of late, but that's just because they've been so bad against the run. So when teams have thrown to the tight end, they've struggled. So I think Josh Oliver as a super punt tight end is in play.
Yeah, he is very cheap. And then I did see a graphic. This might be CJ Ham's last hurrah. I mean, I didn't know CJ Ham was good enough to get a graphic for, retirement purposes or whatever's happening. But, I just want to throw that cheap shot out there. So it seems like we're both on McCarthy a little bit. I, for whatever reason, like him a lot. It, for no reason whatsoever, won't bite me in the ass. But Jordan Mason and the Vikings defense probably the biggest talking points here. So next game, the Tennessee Titans go to the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are a win away from the AFC South. So they definitely have a lot to play for. I don't know how long they're going to play for it. Got the Texans right behind them, who I can't figure out what they're doing. So we got the Titans and the Jaguars. Big spread here for this game for the AFC South title.
Yeah, Jaguars 13.5 point favorites at home against Tennessee. 47.5 is the total. Third highest total of the slate. So we've got implied totals of 17 for the suddenly resurgent Titans, who are kind of playing competent football of late, and 30.5 for Jacksonville, second highest implied total of the week. I'm just jamming all the Jaguars. They can still technically get the 1 seed. If Denver loses, it's not going to happen because the Chargers are punting in this game. But the Jags can go at the 2 seed. So I don't know that really matters. But they want to win the division. They want to get a home game for sure. And Houston will be playing at the same time. So they're going to want to win this game. And I think they're going to want to win this game fairly convincingly. So, just run up your Jaguars. T-Law is probably the best. I think he's the best quarterback start of the week. Travis Etienne's a good start. All the receivers are in play. Parker Washington is in play. Brian Thomas Jr., Jacoby Myers, Brenton Strange. Pick 1, pick 2. I think you're good to go. Titans, Chigakonkwo is kind of getting there. And the Jaguars have struggled against tight end. So, again, if you need a punt tight end, I don't hate that. But that's really all I'm going to be interested in this week on the Titans side.
Yeah, I think Chig is probably the double tight end punt play on DraftKings if that's like if you're really wanting to show up and play Chig Okonkwo in Week 18. The thing about Trevor Lawrence is he's done really well. He's got a lot of rushing touchdowns, and it just kind of takes away from doing like the full on stack. Like usually when you play a guy like when you play Joe Burrow, it comes with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins automatically, where the Trevor Lawrence scores 40 and then Jacoby Myers might get like 12 to 15, which is fine. Nothing, not discriminating against that, but you're not getting like the total monster game. I will bring those guys up. I'd rather play Parker Washington than BTJ. I had BTJ as my flag plant last week. Very ignorant of me. I apologize for anybody who followed that advice. I know better. I need to be better in all three phases. But these guys are just hanging out all in the same price range. 5,600 for Jacoby, BTJ 53. Parker Washington out of the slot. It might be one of the greatest of all time. Last two games, 22, 29. I'd play him if you're playing the Lawrence stuff. And the one guy who, for whatever reason, is not going to get talked about. I know Bashal Tutin is coming back, but Travis Etienne, as long as he gets some goal line stuff, because it's been kind of hard to watch, but he's quietly been getting there. It's leverage off Trevor Lawrence going up against the Titans. He's 7,100. 11, 16, 31, 20, 20. Probably not going to get clicked on a whole lot, honestly. My worry is Bashal Tutin he's back from the finger injury, and he gets a lot of the red zone stuff. If you watch Travis Etienne in the goal line version, it's kind of a tough watch, but I just think that's more of a contrarian game. Honestly, most of this talking point stuff today is for tournaments. I mean, if you're playing cash week 18, you probably need to
do not play cash week 18.
Seek help or find God, whichever one comes first. So
exactly. Not in DFS. Like you can draft, you do the underdog cash games. That's fine. But yeah, DFS, it's rough.
But the other thing with that, Jaguars defense is right up there top of the, I mean, this is getting real goofy in the weeks, but on both sides, they are the top defense of the week. So I'd rather play into ownership with the Vikings at half the price, but I just want to point that out there. Only other thing outside of Chig would be Tony Pollard, I guess. I don't love it, but 5,400, he had a couple weeks that kind of went off there. 5,400 on both sites. So outside of that, I'm not playing DK. I'm not playing Iamanor. Cam Ward is getting you 20 points, but I think I can find 20 points on this slate elsewhere. So I just don't, just not loving much else here. I think my favorite play outside Trevor Lawrence, if I had to pick a wide receiver, would be Parker Washington. I don't know if you have a preference on the three wide receivers there.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's probably the safest one right now. I will say, I don't mind if you want to get super contrarian. I don't mind stacking Etienne with Lawrence because we saw when they went nuke a couple weeks ago. It was when Etienne had when Lawrence had that 5 touchdown game. Etienne had a couple passing touchdowns, and I think if he's going to get there, that's how he's going to do it. So yeah, I think if you want to get contrarian in like a very big field, I play T-Law with Etienne. I don't mind that.
Yep. Last thing as far as pass catchers goes, Bretton Strange, good for a touchdown. He's gotten some work. He's 5,400 on DraftKings or FanDuel, DraftKings. He's 3,800. Last guy, if you want to do the Trevor Lawrence stacks there. So last game of the early window, we've got the Dallas Cowgirls, small favorite on the road going up against the New York Football Giants. Seems like we talked about with the Bengals stuff. I was just worried about how much the Cowboys are going to play today, but how are you feeling about this one?
Bad. Cowboys 3-point favorites. Total is 49.5, which makes 0 sense to me. So implied total of 26.25 for the Cowboys, 23.25 for the Giants. I don't think Dallas is playing their starters for more than a series or two. I mean, we've heard Jerry Jones go on radio and say that Joe Milton's going to get a look.
Yep.
He's not going to commit to how long his starters are going to play. So I'm just full fading the Dallas. Obviously, Jaden Blue's going to be the starter. He's kind of the only game in town other than Hunter Lupke with both Javonte Williams and Malik Davis out. So he's going to get clicked quite a bit. I think I'm just going to fade it. I'm just going to fade the entire Cowboys. I'm just going to fade the Cowboys. Like, that over-underline seems absolutely insane. Like, I want to bet the mortgage on the under in this game. I just think it just seems Vegas has got this one completely wrong. When that happens, I'm usually wrong and Vegas is right. But I don't from all the tea leaves I've heard, I don't think Dallas is playing their starters. So I'm punting off of them totally. Giants side, maybe Jackson Dart is an okay. There's other guys I'd rather start. We'll talk about the Detroit-Chicago game, Trevor Lawrence, Drake May. There's other guys I would rather start that I think are safer. I think this game's I don't think this game's going to be a very high scoring. I was excited about Wan'Dale Robinson earlier in the week, like the first time in my life I've ever been excited about Wan'Dale Robinson. Now he's not playing, so who's Jackson Dart going to throw to? As bad as this Dallas secondary is, who's he throwing to? So yeah, I don't know. I think I just want to fade this game based almost entirely.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I will say this: bring up Jaden Blue, who played one game in the middle of the year and then got demoted. They've had problems with him. He's going to come in like 20% ownership, maybe more. And it's just, I believe they activated Phil Maffa from IR. I hate to say this. I don't say this with confidence. I'd rather play Maffa if you're going to get this deep in the weeds than Jaden Blue.
I think Jaden Blue's a trap. I'm not going there.
I'll say this. If Jaden Blue scores 18 full PPR points today, I will get right with God. That is my guarantee of the week. I don't see it happening, and people are just showing. Yeah, I just don't understand that. And they talked about Joe Milton, so I expect to see him. He's got the rocket launcher arm. He doesn't really do a whole lot else well outside of run a little bit.
He's fun to watch.
Yeah, but and we leave it at that. There's nothing else to it. So,
exactly.
Lamb and Pickens, I mean, they both end up being really expensive. If you're going to stack it with Dak, I mean, you would hope that Dak plays more than a half, and I don't see it. But I don't want to play Joe Milton either. So it just kind of eliminates those guys. Jake Ferguson. On the other side, Theo Johnson's out. Dropped the news that Wan'Dale's out. So it's like Darius Slayton and then Devin Singletary and Tyrone Tracy are eating into each other. Both of them are good plays, right. And then the opposite one you play scores the touchdown, so you don't want to go there. Dart's okay because he runs. I mean, with the amount of CTE he's collected over the last second half of the season, maybe just runs wild one last time. He's 7,100. Outside of that, I don't have anything else on this game. I'm kind of with you on that. I just think that starters are going to sit for the Cowboys, the Giants. They played the Raiders last week and looked like an abomination. I mean, they won convincingly because it was against the Raiders, but it still was not. It just wasn't good. So I'm right there with you. So I guess we'll just any interest in defense before we move on? No.
Defenses are so bad that no. I could see Joe Milton just launching a couple. Maybe, if anything, it would be the Giants. But yeah, there's the Vikings are going to be so much better play than the Giants will be.
Yeah, Maffa is 4K on DraftKings, and then FanDuel, he's 4K as well. This is not like a convincing play. Go tell the audience to go play him. I just think Phil Maffa will probably get more points than Jaden Blue today. Maybe that's a very ignorant thing to say. I think we just need to move on from this game at this point before I sign up for checks I can't cash. But I've both just kind of staying away from this game. So that is it for the early window. If you haven't already, make sure to like, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel, get all the notifications, all that good stuff. We have a whopping 7 games in the early or the late window, the most of all time. So we will kick things off with the Arizona Cardinals going up against the Rams, who, now that the 49ers lost last week, are basically going to play the NFC South winner with the win today, like you talked about earlier. So how are you feeling about this one?
Yeah, this game has moved to 14 now this morning. So Rams by 14 at home, 47.5 is the total. So 16.75 implied for Arizona, 30.75 implied for the Rams. They are the highest implied team total of the day. Smash Rams, smash Stafford, smash Kyron. I think Corum is questionable, or maybe not. I don't think he's
I don't think he's playing. I'll look real quick while you.
Yeah, I don't think he's playing. Kyron is questionable earlier in the week, and there was some Jarquez Hunter talk, but I think Kyron's going to play. So I'm interested in him. Puka's probably going to give me my play of the day. I think he's an absolute smash because I don't think Devontae Adams is going to play, and they're going to try and score because they're going to want to win this game. Sit their guys and then just get ready for a wild card bye against the Panthers. So I love Puka today.
I will say this: I totally forgot the Panthers that we talked about being the bye are the team that beat the Rams earlier in the season.
They did.
I try to forget stuff like that, but
it was completely fluky because they got a defensive touchdown and they had a couple bad interceptions. They had that bad Puka drop. It was just a completely fluky win. So they're going to want to get revenge on that game as well. So yeah,
we got
feels like a total bye.
We've got the Terrence Ferguson is out for tight ends, but Tyler Higbee is in, who has definitely had some flashes as far as tight ends go. I don't know if I love it, but I guess that'd probably be my stack partner with Stafford with Puka there. It's real weird because Sean McVay has always sat starters in a scenario like this, and this team is like really beat up. The offensive line's hurt, but when you either playing the Panthers, Bucks, or playing one of like the Eagles or I guess the Bears or whoever it is, I guess, you need to suit up one time and go out there and play your heart out. So
that's why I think they're just going to try and run it up in like the first 2.5 quarters and then sit their guys. So I think they're going to go at it aggressively.
So if that's the case, hopefully we get one last hurrah from the Jacoby Brissett experience, which Michael Wilson, Marvin Harrison Jr., he's retired again for the season. Trey McBride, he's plus money, score touchdown. I like that bet today if you are betting out there. But Michael Wilson, who's been really good. We've been doing this song and dance all seems like the second half of the year. The big second half from Jacoby last week to Trey McBride probably helped a lot of people like myself win fantasy football championships. I can't thank those guys enough for everything they've done. The Blake Bortles impersonation has been awesome and will never be forgotten. But it gets pretty straight line there. Michael Carter is not a running back I'm going to play. We don't play Arizona running backs. So I think you could stack this game. It gets pretty expensive, obviously, but I do like the Jacoby double. Just really straight, especially if the Rams are going to win. Secondary is really bad. It's been banged up all year. So you get the second half Jacoby stuff there. So I think that is it. Any interest in Rams defense against this greatest show on turf, Arizona Cardinals?
Yeah, I wouldn't rule them out. I wouldn't say they're not in my pool. I don't love it, but there's some really attractive defensive options. So, but I think they're a fine play.
Yeah, so I don't have much else on this. Kyron, probably the GPP play as far as, well, it's all GPP, but just the guy who's probably not going to get clicked on the most, especially I can't get a call or a text message, find out if Blake Corum's playing. So Kyron's in a good spot there too. So next game, I don't know if we should just skip this one. I guess we do have to talk about it. Kansas City Chiefs on the road going to Las Vegas, who is in the Mendoza experience draft. I mean, they're in draft season already. So Travis Kelce, I believe his last hurrah playing with some quarterback. I don't even know where he came from or whatever. So if you got anything at all, you can drop your knowledge here for Chiefs at Raiders.
Who would have thought that this game going into the season would be just completely meaningless? Not because the Chiefs had clinched everything and were just resting their guys, but because neither team is going to make the playoffs. So Chiefs are 4.5-point favorites here. 36.5 is the total. So 20.5 implied for the Chiefs, 16 implied for Vegas. Travis Kelce is the last hurrah. That's all I'm interested in. I had never heard of Claire Oladikin until he played the other day, a couple weeks ago. I'd never heard his name before. So yeah, I think Xavier Worthy is out for this game. I don't know that it matters. Yeah, it's Travis Kelce if you want to go with the last hurrah narrative. Otherwise, yeah, there's nothing in this game that interests me whatsoever.
Man, just how sad. Travis Kelce, he's had this great career. He's hoping for like the Cinderella run. He can't even get like porn stash boy Gardner Minshew to throw him his last touchdown. It's going to be some guy that, you and I are pretty deep in the weeds on draft stuff, and we don't even know Ludicron. So, R.I.P. Travis Kelce. It's been fun. Looking forward to Taylor Swift's new album coming out next time it does. So that's, I got nothing on this game. We're just going to move on. If somebody wins money out of this game, good for you. You've done a lot better than we have. So good for you.
More power to you. Golf clap.
Next game, backups galore. We got the Washington Commanders on the road to Philadelphia. slight home favorite. I think outside of maybe some seeding for the Eagles, they're pretty set in stone. I believe the 2 or the 3 seed, and that's probably where they're going to be. So, Commanders at the Eagles here.
Eagles are 4-point favorites this morning. That has come down a little bit. So 38.5 is the total, 17.25 implied for Washington. And the Josh Johnson experience, 21.25 implied for Philly. Philly has basically said they're going to rest their starters, so I'm not touching anything to do with Jalen Hurts or Saquon Barkley or A.J. Brown or DeMonta Smith or Dallas Goedert. Dallas Goedert is confirmed out, right? They're not playing him.
I think they're all out. It just hasn't been confirmed yet.
Yeah. So I sweet baby love me some Tank Bigsby this week. I think he's going to be very highly owned, but I'm very fond of it. You got Tanner McKee up there. I think Tanner McKee is a competent quarterback. I liked him coming out of Stanford, but he's shown well when he's had a chance. I just don't know who he's going to be thrown to. Is it going to be Jahan Dotson? Yep. Sure. If you want to play that, that's kind of fun. Washington side, man, it's just hard. I think Debo's got an incentive if he gets like 94 yards or something like that. Do you think 94 he can get 94 yards against this Eagles defense? I kind of don't. No. So, yeah, if Jaden Daniels was playing, sure, but with Josh Johnson, I have zero confidence. So, yeah, smash me some Tank Bigsby. Otherwise, I'm not interested really in anything in this game.
Yeah, I don't know what has happened with this Tanner McKee experience, but people think that they're going to get like a second or third round pick this offseason to trade him to start for an NFL squad. I don't know what drugs these people are on, but whatever you're on, make sure to pass some my way, I guess. I don't. He's done good in preseason, I guess 2 years in a row. So he's like better than Matt Flynn when he had his like one game and kind of moved on to Seattle. They paid him a bunch of money and Russell Wilson starts. And I don't get it. But Tanner McKee is going to get clicked on today on a slate where we do have some starting quarterbacks that are alive and breathing. I'd probably rather start those guys. I will say Jahan Dotson, as far as if you were jamming some stuff, he did have the big game with McKee last time they played. So 4,800 on FanDuel. This is going to be the punt wide receiver of the week. 3,800 on DraftKings. Outside of that, it's Grant Calcaterra would be at tight end for the Eagles, and I'm not sure if he's even in the player pool. So that's where we're at this game. You talk about Josh Johnson starting for Marcus Mariota. I don't have any Commanders thoughts. JCM, I know he had the big week to help some people. I just don't really have much interest in this game. There's other teams that are alive. It seems like a lot of people are going to be in on the Eagles. I think Tank Bigsby is fine as far as punt plays, like you talked about. Going to have some ownership. It's him. It's Jordan Mason, Dylan Sampson for Cleveland. That's going to be your punt running back realm. And then
Jaden Blue. People are going to play Jaden Blue, but
yeah,
they're wrong.
Blue. Yeah, I just Eagles are a mid-tier defense. Like I said, it's going to be a lot of backups. So if you want to play Bigsby with Eagles defense, I think that's kind of interesting. Josh Johnson is one of these Week 18 quarterback savants who come out of nowhere to play one game a year. It's when everybody else is falling off the cliff. So that's really about it. I'm not near as excited for the Eagles backups as some of the other people are, but I think I'm with you. Tank Bigsby's fine. The rest of them, I just don't have much interest in. So anything else on this game?
Nope. That's about it.
Well, that sums up Week 18 in a nutshell. So
exactly.
Next game here, Miami Dolphins, another team that has retired everybody, going to New England. With a win, they will play for the 2 seed. And if for some reason Denver falls off the cliff or doesn't show up, they will win the 1 seed. So still have something to play for. Big home favorites going up against the Dolphins here.
Yeah, we got the Patriots 13.5-point favorites at home. That has gone up a point this morning. 45.5 is the total. 16 implied for Miami, probably without Devon Achane. So you can see why. 29.5 implied for New England, who kind of ran up the score against the Jets last week.
Yep.
They did what we want everyone to do this week, who has something to play for, is just run up the score and then sit your guys in the middle of the third quarter. So I can see them doing that again. The question is Steph Diggs going to be part of that plan? Coming off the strangulation accusation. So we'll see. Keyshawn Boutte is back this week, so that's good. Miami has been pretty good against wide receivers, so I'm kind of fading Steph. I'm just going to fade Steph Diggs this week. I'm not going to have 0, but I'm not super in love with him. And then we saw the complete running back split. Trayvon Henderson played last week, kind of surprisingly coming off the concussion. But it was, they both, like he and Ramondre both got there because they scored so many points. But it was basically a full-time split that we had seen before. So I think both are fine because I think they're just going to try and run up the score on Miami and sit their guys early. Hunter Henry, I think, is a fine play as well at tight end. I think Drake May is definitely going to be in the upper echelon of my quarterbacks. Miami with no Devon Achane is probably going to lean on Jalen Wright. It's probably not terrible to start him. New England has been really good against the run, but they're without Christian Barmore because he's slapping up his wife. I think Robert Spillane's not going to play as well. So they're kind of beat up in the middle of their defense. So I don't think Jalen Wright's terrible. Quinn Ewers sucks, and I just don't think he can support an offense without Devon Achane. And Waddle's very questionable.
He is very out. Nobody you can rely on. That is the blue tent merchant of 2025, Jalen Waddle.
That is absolutely true. So yeah, I don't think Wright's a terrible click. How many points is Miami going to score? We saw Breece Hall get there last week against New England, but Jalen Wright's not Breece Hall. So and the Miami offensive line is not the Jets offensive line. So it's a pretty tough click when there's other. It's going to be really hard for me to click on Jalen Wright when Tank Bigsby is staring me in the face.
Kind of right there with you. I will bring up one of the most reliable tight end punts of all time. Greg Dulcich looked like Megatron last week. I do have to bring him up. I cannot believe that I'm going to vouch for this man. Greg Dulcich, wide receiver 1 in Miami this week. I can almost guarantee he will finish with the most yards over Malik Washington, over whoever else is behind for Quinn Ewers. This watching the game, looking for Achane, looking for Waddle last week. 5 for 6, 58 yards. He had a rushing attempt. I mean, he was like the Taysom Hill experience in Miami. So that is a punt tight end. Probably, like I said, more of a DraftKings play than FanDuel because of the touchdown stuff. I really like Ramondre in this spot. I know everybody loves Trayvon Henderson, thinks he's the greatest of all time, and he might be. Ramondre is getting passing down work still. He gets goal line work, and he's still whooping ass. Last 2 weeks, he has had monster games. I expect him to have another monster game here, and I don't think he's going to get clicked. And everybody's just so excited to play Trayvon Henderson. I get it, the home run ability. He's $7K, but Stevenson is $700 cheaper on FanDuel, especially where you get touchdowns. And like I said, he's getting the passing down work too. So Stevenson's more expensive on DraftKings compared to – actually, no, he's not. Henderson's 61, Stevenson's 56, so that's $500 difference. He's cheaper. I'd rather have Stevenson than Henderson straight up. I don't know if that's a contrarian take because I understand Henderson's home run ability. Ramondre's had an awesome last couple weeks here in the postseason, or the fantasy playoffs. 24 and 16 the last 2 weeks. I like him. Jalen Wright's fine as a punt play, like you talked about. He's had some big games when he's stepped in. 5,200 on FanDuel. DraftKings, he ends up being 4,200. Greg Dulcich, I talked about. I don't have a strong lean on the Patriots pass catchers. I'm kind of right there with you where I don't. Hunter Henry's fine. I think we're just kind of. I don't know if I want to play. I missed out on Drake May last week. I didn't think that the Jets. I didn't think he was going to drop the nuke on him. I thought they'd go up like 30-0 and then just kind of retire, but he was just slinging it across the yard, making a point. So he's probably going to end up being MVP. I don't have a strong lean on any of his pass catchers. So it's in a good spot. I just don't know. I know that's bad analysis. I just don't know who it's going to be as far as.
Yeah, no, I think that's totally. If I'm playing it, I think I prefer to play it through Hunter Henry and just let the rest sort itself out.
Yeah. Well, the thing with Stephon Diggs is everybody was hurt last week, so he played more than he ever has. But he's been a part-time player, and then I mean it's Henry, but I mean Austin Hooper gets run, so Hunter Henry's fine. Other than that, it's Patriots defense, and that's really about it for me here. I don't know if you have anything else on this game. Probably not.
Probably not.
Nope.
Yeah, Pat's defense is a fine play as well.
Yeah, and they're going to be up there. They're going to be,
but they're expensive.
Yeah, they are the top shelf bourbon of fantasy defenses here. So next game, another barn burner. We get Trey Lance for his one time a year appearance. We get the LA Chargers going on the road for face Denver Broncos. Big home favorites, going to lock up a 1 seed here with a win. So Chargers at Broncos here.
Yeah, Broncos 14-point home favorites. Well, like you said, with a chance to lock up home field throughout the playoffs. 38 is the total. So the Chargers have a 12-point implied total with Trey Lance, lowest of the day, even lower than the Packers. 26 implied for Denver. I'm not touching anything on the Charger side. Have fun if you want to do that. Hampton is out, right? He's not playing.
Correct,
I believe. So yeah, good luck. Good luck with your Kameni Vidal. But yeah. Trey Lance, no, thank you. So you can have your Ladd McConkeys. I don't think they're even going to play those guys that much. Denver side, love the defense. They're probably my favorite defensive play of the day because Trey Lance will probably throw 5 interceptions. So I think that's an elite option. I would rather play through RJ Harvey, but like how much run is he going to get? Like this game could be like if this game is 14-0, it's probably over. And then it becomes a Jaleel McLaughlin show, or who else? Tyler Bidet, whatever. So yeah, Harvey kind of scares me because I think the Chargers offense is just gonna be so inept that they could be up 13, 14 points and just shut it down because it's kind of like the Packers Vikings game several weeks ago where, when JJ McCarthy was really struggling, they got up by 2 scores and they decided to run the ball straight up the middle because they knew that it didn't matter because the Vikings with JJ McCarthy weren't going to come back and score on them. So I think this could be a very similar scenario. And honestly, those scores could come from the defense. So it's really tough to start your Broncos in this game as well.
Yeah, I think RJ Harvey is probably the most interesting player on the slate because there's a really good chance that he is the one you need, but at the same time, it might just kind of fall. I mean, you expect the Broncos. I don't expect the Broncos blow out the Chargers, even though they're not playing their starters. I mean, Bo Nix is not. This Broncos offense has felt very broken the entire year. So, Cortland Sutton's going to get some run just because he's going to be the number 1 option. 5,900 on DraftKings, FanDuel. He ends up being 7K. Bo Nix is, I guess, interesting as far as a tournament play. I don't love it. His defense, I'd probably pair it with Harvey and then just kind of get out of here. Trey Lance has ran a lot, but he's playing all the backups, so I'll leave him for more of the preseason stuff instead of week 18. That's my preference when I'm playing Trey Lance. Other than that, I don't. Troy Franklin, Pat Bryant, I believe, is out. I just don't have any interest in any of these guys. And I'll be honest, I don't think the Broncos are going to blow them out. They might get to like 30 points by the end of it, but I don't think it's going to be like what the Patriots did last week where they score 38 within 5 minutes and the game's over. I just think the Broncos are going to kind of dick around and do what they've done all year. And this is a great spot for the Broncos defense, but the Broncos defense has not been near as good the last couple of weeks, which will be great going up against the backups. But I kind of want to point that out. Texans defense, I think, is stronger personally, but Broncos defense get a lot of run here. So other than that, RJ Harvey's just been the big question mark for me. I want to play him. I'm just really scared to. Does he even get there? I guess is my.
Yeah, I mean, Chargers' run defense is good. Like they can't rest everybody. So, like they held the Houston running game in check last week. So yeah, I don't think they're just gonna. I don't think their defense is gonna no show. I think their offense will. But
right,
yeah, Harvey. Like I agree with that. Harvey is a very, very interesting case this week.
Yeah, and that's probably more than we probably should have talked about this game. So we will move on. We got 2 games left. We got a fun one at the end, I promise, but we just have to get through the New York Football Jets going on the road to Buffalo. We do not. I think we'll get Josh Allen to start the game to continue his consecutive start streak, and then we will get Mr. Kissing Titties himself, Mitchell Trubisky, who has played in some of these backup roles. It's the last game at the Ralph or Highland or Highmark Stadium, whatever the Bills is. They're going to move to their new stadium, so it seems like this is a pretty sentimental game for the Bills. But Jets, I got nothing to say about the Jets. So if you have any Bills stuff, you can drop it on me here.
Bills are 8-point favorites in this one. 37.5 is the total. So 14.75 implied for the Jets. How are they getting to 14? How are they passing 14 point? Whatever. 2.75 implied for Buffalo. I think the big story in this one is Sean McDermott has spoken this week that he is conscious of the fact that James Cook could win the rushing title. I think they probably need Josh Allen in the game long enough for him to be a threat for Cook to get there. Otherwise, the defense is going to kind of key it. So I think Allen might play longer than most people think he will. There's also some incentive for the Bills to not be the 7 seed and have to go to New England. So I think they do want to win this game. Again, it's just not going to take that much to win this game. Like we saw the Patriots just annihilate the Jets last week. I think the Jets are the Buffalo's going to probably try and do the same thing. Just get out to that 30-point lead by halftime and just 28 and just shut it down because the Jets can't score.
Right.
No Breece Hall, Brady Cook with Khalil Herbert and Kene Nwangwu playing running back. You're going to score points. I would like to jam that Jets 14.75 implied team total under. I'm not touching anything on the Jet side. You can have fun with the Adonai Mitchell. I will not be touching it. So this is James Cook. If you want to get super contrarian, start Josh Allen with him. Otherwise, that's all I'm interested in this game.
Yeah, the problem with Josh Allen or even Mitchell Trubisky is Josh Allen's been bad with his pass catchers this year. None of them have gotten there. Shakir, any of those guys. So if you had any confidence that they play for a little bit, they're just not good stacking partners. I think Mitchell Trubisky is probably going to get some run here. We'll see about the James Cook stuff. It just ends up really, I guess, depending on Jonathan Taylor, but I just don't. Bills defense, Jets haven't gotten a interception this entire year. They're going to try to break the streak, and if not, I guess it goes back to like the Great Depression or World War II, like the last time this ever happened for an NFL defense to not have a interception. Aaron Glenn, defensive-minded specialist. His defense has been absolutely dog shit. Has been an embarrassment to defensive football. So I expect whoever is playing quarterback to drop 100 on the Jets today. And just saw some stuff. Aaron Glenn's supposed to be back. I don't know how. I just don't know how.
It has not gone well. Sorry, JJ. Love you, but I think you probably got to move on.
Let's find you a new team for 2026, JJ. You deserve a lot better than the New York Jets. So we deserve a lot better than having to talk about that game. So we're going to move on. Last one of the regular season. And I think this is going to be a good one. We got the Detroit Lions going on the road to Chicago. Caleb needs 270 yards to be the first 4,000-yard passer since God knows how long, maybe ever at this point. Lions, Dan Campbell's probably going to play his guys and try to make up for what they've lost this past month, it seems. So a lot for the Bears as far as seeding goes. I guess it's between the 2 and the 3 seed for the Bears, and then the Lions expect them to play. So seems like we're going to get a competitive game here and probably a lot of ownership too. But what do you got for this game?
Yeah, the Ben Johnson Bowl. This is my favorite game of the day by far. Detroit 3.5-point road dogs here. 50.5 is the total. That is the highest total of the weekend. So 23.5 implied for Detroit, 27 implied for Chicago. Detroit is going to play their guys. They did this 2-3 years ago in Aaron Rodgers' last game in Green Bay when the Packers had just needed a win to clinch a playoff spot, and Detroit came in and basically smashed them. So the Ben Johnson Bowl, I think that Detroit is going to play their guys. So I'm a little nervous about Amon-Ra St. Brown just because of the injuries. It sounds like he's going to play, but I'm kind of fading him, and I'm going to play a lot of Jameson Williams this week because we saw how well he did in that Packer game when Amon-Ra was hurt. He basically took over that wide receiver 1 role and did very well with it. So I like this Chicago defense looks really bad. I mean, they could not stop the 49ers on Sunday night at all, even though, they were going score for score and just Caleb Williams just couldn't. You kind of felt bad for Caleb Williams. He just couldn't keep up because their defense was so bad. The only thing that's legitimately giving hope for the Packers in the playoffs is that the Chicago defense is so bad and they're probably going to play Chicago. I love the Detroit side in this game. I like Jahmyr Gibbs. I like Jameson Williams. Like I said, I'm kind of fading Amon-Ra St. Brown, but love Gibbs. I'm good with Goff. And then on the Bears side, Caleb Caleb's hot, and I do think they're going to try and get him to 4,000 yards. So I like him a lot. I like Colson Loveland. He had 10 targets on Sunday night. He is very much a part of the offense right now without Rome Odunze. Luther Burden had the huge game, got hurt at the end, but I think he's okay to play. So I prefer him to DJ Moore because DJ Moore had 4 targets on Sunday night. It was very much the Burden and Loveland show. So I love stacking this game. I'm gonna have a lineups that are just very heavy into this game.
Yeah, I don't think Jared Goff's going to get played after what everybody's seen the last couple of weeks. It's a really good spot for him if you want to stack him with JMO. Jahmyr Gibbs, obviously big disappointment last week when everybody needed him the most. Could see him having a big game here. I mean, the Bears and the 49ers are the exact same team. Awesome offense, terrible defense. So Bears side, I'm right there with you. If I was going to stack Caleb Williams to be with Burden and Loveland, DJ Moore's fine. We will see about Odunze. It seems like he's gotten some limited practice. I don't expect him to play. He's got like a foot fracture thing that, if anything, they'd probably wait another week before they activated him. But the one part I do think is really interesting here is DeAndre Swift and Kyle Monangai, 2 guys that I don't think are going to get a bunch of clicks because everybody's going to go to Caleb Williams. And I get that 270, but I mean, Bears offense could drop 500 yards here. The Lions defense has been absolutely dog shit. So DeAndre Swift, 5,900. Monangai is going to be in the same realm here. Obviously, I like Swift, who's been quietly one of the better running back clicks this entire year. 5,900 on DraftKings, 6,500 on FanDuel, and then Monangai's 5,900 on FanDuel and 5,400 on DraftKings. So I like both those guys. As I hate to say it as a tournament play, but I mean that's kind of the way to get different off this game. I'm right there with you. I like Jameson Williams a lot. I think he's in a good spot. Amon-Ra is probably the most interesting click of the week. He's in a really good spot. You're worried about his health, how much run he's actually going to get. But I honestly, if I was playing the Jared Goff stuff, I would leave Gibbs out of it and just play Amon-Ra and Jameson Williams. That would be my way of getting different. I'm not saying that's the correct way to play it, but I just think a lot of people would play Gibbs. This running or rushing attack for the Lions has been terrible over the last month for him and David Montgomery. So you get the David Montgomery revenge game, even though he has not gotten any run at all. So it's going to get a lot of ownership. Like I said, I think a lot of people are going to play Caleb Williams on a slate like this. I think it's right to do so. It just a lot of ownership, and you're just going to have to be a little cognizant of that. So just finding different ways to get just a little bit different. You don't have to get completely off the grid, but seems like we both like this game. Cole Kmet, he's still kicking. It's not Colston Loveland, but he does get some run. And then Zacchaeus is back as well. That would probably be more of a large field play if you're getting really goofy with it. So tight end for the Lions, I don't think it's happening. Isaac Tesla would be a large field tournament play because he seems to catch one goofy touchdown a week. And then I think
if you need 7 points, he's your guy.
Yeah. So I think that's about it, unless I've left something off for this game here.
No, I don't think so. I think we hit most of it. Yeah.
So
but yeah, definitely. This is my favorite game of the day by far. This is the game that I want to jam pieces from.
So with that being said, we will finish off the last game of the regular season with flag plants, as always. So I'll let you go first with your first flag plant for Week 18.
It was going to be Nico by a mile, but it's not. So I'll go Puka. Like I said, I think the Rams are going to want to get in, get out, get up early, run through the Cardinals, and they should be able to. So yeah, I'm smashing Puka this week.
I like that call a lot. It seems a lot more comfortable this morning than it was last night with how everything's kind of worked out there. So my first flag plant would be Juwan Johnson. He ends up being basically the pass catcher for the Saints, and I think we'll have some run. I think Tyler Shuck's been really good. On a tight end slate that's pretty goofy outside of Trey McBride, I just think he's reliable, and at his price, I think I get 10, 15 points pretty easily from him. So Juwan Johnson will be my first one, and then last one for Week 18.
I'm going to go with Colson Loveland just because I think he's the piece I want most in that Chicago passing game, and he's the cheapest at 3,900 on DK. And like you said, it's kind of a goofy tight end slide. He had 10 targets last week. So yeah, I think he is fully integrated into that passing offense. Detroit just so beat up in the secondary, especially with Brian Branch out. I think it becomes a very good matchup for him. So yeah, probably one of my favorite plays and one of my favorite punt plays as well.
Yep. So I'm right there with you. My last one, I'll be honest, I'm going to get pretty ignorant with it. I'm going to go JJ McCarthy. So
Nice.
it's a good spot. He's been getting 20 plus points every time he plays. He doesn't play a whole lot, but when he does, Packers just are trying to survive into next week. So you got Justin Jefferson, who trying to get 1,000 yards. I think they get him there. Ends up being just kind of a nice spot for JJ McCarthy. Try to end this season on a positive note going into next year. So that is it. Week 18, we got through it. That was kind of as harder than I thought it'd be. At the same time, a little easier. I mean, we had a lot of goofy injury news, starts it, like all that stuff, but we got through it. Before we go, Joel, let everybody know where they can find you.
At the Joel Wirth on the Twitter, on the Bluesky, and then you can find me randomly on the Club Fantasy YouTube channel as well, and on IDP Plus and Statement Games YouTube channels.
Yep. So over on the Twitter machine at Jameson Rules, if you haven't already, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel as well, and that'll do it for the regular season. Joel and I will have a talk about playoff DFS. We got to work on our schedule here, but hoping to have something done with that, and then I'll tweet that out and let everybody know. You'll get an alert if you're subscribed to the channel about when that drops. I'll be probably early in the week if we get that taken care of, but I do want to throw that out there for anybody who's tuning in. So I appreciate it. Good luck this week. Hope you guys had a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Hope you won all your fantasy titles, and hope you enjoy Week 18. It'll be definitely a goofy one. So appreciate everybody tuning in. Until next time. See you guys later.